Welcome. You're listening to The Real Truth About You, and this is a show where we journey together to discover our real true selves. Then we're going to use that information and that knowledge and that inner findings, that discovery to live the best life that we can live. I'm Will St Clair. I'm going to be your host for the show today. And something really exciting, this past weekend, we just hit over 1,000 episode downloads. Might not sound like a lot. We've been going for almost 7 weeks. This is August of 2016. But to me, it's almost like having a birthday. 1,000. I think that's pretty good. Didn't expect to get to that. Anyway, I have some comments from some of the shows I want to go over. And I thought to celebrate the 1,000th download, or the 1,000th episode download, I would read some just some general comments that people are saying. We've got, because I'm just actually amazed at some of the emails I'm getting. I'm not saying I'm getting inundated with tons and tons of emails, or that so many people are flooding in comments and things, but we are in about, I think we're in about 10 different countries now, and I'm starting to get emails and responses on the website, and it's at therealtruthaboutyou.com, by the way, and I'm starting to get a lot of feedback on Facebook, and some emails to our email address at support@therealtruthaboutyou.com, and I just want to read a few of them. This is kind of interesting for me. I really like it. Cheryl Jean-Baptiste, who's from Canada, says, "This is awesome. Thanks for sharing all this with us." James Layton asks, he says, "I'm looking for it on the Overcast app, but no luck so far." And I think the Overcast app pulls its stream from iTunes, so that should be coming soon. And my sister-in-law says, I commented about 1,000, and I says, wow. And she said, "Did you really believe that once you answered your true calling and followed the master, that the results would be anything short of miraculous?" Thanks, Jacqueline. Lamont Dick from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada said, "Love the interview you did with Chris Dukas." I think that was episode 21, I think. And he said, "Keep up the good work." Jerry Dinis from the UK, and he's been emailing me quite a bit. Apparently I knew him and quite a while ago, back in the 80s, maybe 70s actually, and we've just reconnected. And he said, he sent me a number of things, but basically he said, "I've listened to podcasts 1 to 13 during the first 3 hours of my 4-hour drive to Newcastle under Lyme near Stoke." And he says, "Then I took time for quiet reflection as well as a break in my driving." And he shared with his son when he went to see him a few things from some of the podcasts I'd said. And one was about the power of a smile. His son's a doctor. And that was from episode 3, the power of a smile. And then surrounding yourself with good people, which was from episode 10, and find and follow your passion, which is something I'm really, really, really big on. And Jerry Dini is from the UK, of course, and I really appreciate him sending this in. And there was actually a few emails he sent to me, and they were all very encouraging, and I'm going to get back to him very soon, so thanks, Jerry. He comes from the UK, which I came from originally, and we left when I was 21. Why did I leave the UK? Well, because I always thought the grass was greener on the other side, but the truth of the matter is, you are basically the grass, and wherever you go, you take you with you. And so I didn't deal with my stuff back in the UK, so I had to deal with it over here. It came up eventually, so it doesn't matter where you go, you're going to take you with you, and you're going to have things that you're going to go through. Adrian Poirier on episode 22, the one that says, "Don't wait, just do it." He says, "Sounds like a good Nike commercial. You know, I have no problem with just do it, but I am red in personality, and there is a color spectrum to analyze personalities. Red is me. Green needs data to act. Yellow loves to organize and categorize, and blue are the go with the flow, don't want to stir the pot people. And we can all have colors in our personality. For example, me being red still has to be green as an administrator, and he's a principal or a headmaster of a school in Canada. I'm northern Saskatchewan. And I need to make decisions using data. So it's easy to say, just do it if you're the right color. But that doesn't mean you're stuck in that color. Good talk, Will. And I responded to him, and that was a Facebook comment. And I told him that we're actually going to go more into personalities and decision making and the process for all of that kind of stuff. And I'm actually going to do an interview with Shelley Slackhouse hopefully soon, and she actually facilitates and teaches the color personality method, and so you'll be getting some information about that soon. My wife said for episode 22, don't wait, just do it. Thank you, Will, for sharing this. It was exactly what I needed to hear today. I love how God is using you to bring so much inspiration and down-to-earth messages to me. Well, yeah, we actually communicate at home too, so don't worry about it, not just through the internet. So, and from episode 21, Jerry Thomas says, when I talked about it's all about you and the rising tide, he talks about how he has seen the change in his life, and how he said when he does something, it's like God or his higher power says to him, go and say sorry. So he can go and say, I'm really sorry for the damage I did, without feeling himself being threatened or need to defend what he did wrong. And he says, what a great thing you are doing in these brilliant podcasts, Will. That can help so many people. Thank you. I hope to listen to more before I return to work in a few days. And I think Jerry's also from the UK, so thanks, Jerry. He also he gives me a comment in episode 17, is God enough? He says, well, I tried before, but only today I succeeded in getting these podcasts to work on my iPad. And we have been having some issues with that, but we're getting that solved out. The order I have listened is 19, 20, 18, and 17. So you don't have to listen to these in succession. And I have been increasingly impressed. Thank you for your honesty and courage in sharing your journey. I'm hoping to get to speak at some point. I will be listening to more and will tell others. Thank you very much, Jerry Thomas. I look forward to speaking with you. In our chat with Tammy Dovell, episode 16, Tara Lee says, now that was a great way to start my day. And Jerry Thomas again said, there is a lot of wisdom here. Makes me think of Richard Rohr, Eckhart Tolle, and thanks, Will. And well, thank you again, Jerry. And Jerry's been probably my biggest poster of comments. I really appreciate that. Richard Rohr is actually somebody I used to listen to. He's a Catholic priest theologian, and really contemplative, you might say. And I really love his stuff. He talks about, when he's talking about spirituality, he talks about, I think it was Eckhart that actually brought this out, was about, instead of us adding all the time to our spirituality, he talks about the spirituality of subtraction, that we want to come closer to God. We need to take things out of our life, not add them to. And so in episode 14, chat with Dr. John McMillan about suicide awareness, Jenny Potter said, this was very good for me to listen to. It was about suicide awareness. She says, thank you. I will never understand it. I will never forget. So obviously, Jenny, you have something that you are, a deep memory for you. I will never be at peace, but I guess we can stop blaming ourselves for not being there for that person. Thanks, Jenny, for that awesome, honest sharing of yours. Jerry Thomas again, he said, this is an excellent podcast with a few good points I hadn't thought of before. A challenging area sensitively handled. Thank you, Will. And it is, suicide awareness was a big thing. And if you are uncomfortable with the area of suicide, I would encourage you to go to episode 14, actually. Episode 14, Chat with Dr. John McMillan about suicide awareness. And it's on our website at therealtruthaboutyou.com. I interviewed my wife in episode 11, Chat with Audrina St Clair. It was called Truth, Lies, and Being Comfortable in Your Own Skin. Lynn Brady, who doesn't live far from here at Canopy Lake, Saskatchewan, Canada, said, just finished listening. So great, Adrina. I absorbed every syllable. Thank you for sharing. And Will, your humorous interjections slay me. Don't ever stop. And Dion, thanks, Lynn. Dion Cochran says, such wise, loving words. What a great way to start my day. Thank you, guys. And thank you, Dion, for listening in. Lisa Montaigne says, thank you both. I just started listening at podcast 11, and that's great. And I am looking forward to finding the time to listen to them all now. And Jenny Sett said about surrounding yourself with good people, which is episode 10. She says, perfect. I am going to do a journal on hardships. Wow. Now you have my heart moving again. So thank you, everybody, for all the comments. There's been others, and there's been a lot of emails. I just picked a few of them. I don't want to bore you with tons of things, but I just want to tell you, in the last, I don't know how many episodes I've done, 22, something like that. I only thought I would go to episode 3 or 5, but it's such a cool thing to be able to hear from people around the world. So if you want to email me, you can email me, Will, and it's at the email address is support@therealtruthaboutyou.com, and I would love to hear from you. Or you can go onto our Facebook, and you can find us there, The Real Truth About You, and we're on Twitter and Instagram, although I can't honestly say I'm that active on Instagram, but I'd love to get an email from you, and I'd love to hear about where you are and what's your story. What is your story in life? And I share quite a bit about my story and where I'm from, what I do, and insights that have come from my life and inspirations that have come from other people also. But I would also like to hear from you. What is your story? And maybe it's something that we might want to share on our website or share on Facebook with our other listeners. There's a lot of people who are starting to listen in now to our podcast and start to go to our website. The website was kind of small in attendance at the very start, and people are coming to Facebook more than anything and listening to the podcast there. And sometimes I like people to go to the website, because the website is where we start to put all our resource and links. Like if you wanted to get a hold of Dr. John McMillan about suicide awareness, if you ever experienced loss or anything like that. And there's other people there that we link to. And so the website is actually becoming very popular. It's not super popular yet, but it's getting there. And it's therealtruthaboutyou.com, www at the beginning, therealtruthaboutyou.com. So I'd love to hear from you. And you know what? This podcast has been short. It's been my connection corner, I call it, I think. Listening to you, giving some of the feedback I've been getting. And most people seem to be enjoying the podcast. It seems to be an area that people are interested in. And I know it's an area that I am interested in, because it is definitely a passion of mine, and I love helping people. So I would love to hear your story. I'd love to hear you comment. Write to me at support@therealtruthaboutyou.com. Love to hear from you. Also, if you want to take any of our podcasts and share them with anybody else, do that. Download them, copy them onto a CD like Jerry Dini did, and give it away to somebody, and share it on Facebook. Do whatever you have to do to let somebody else know. And if we can touch somebody's life and help you discover the real you, so that you can live the best and abundant life that you can live, then hey, this is awesome. So anyway, this has been another short podcast moment. And hey, love you lots. And I can't wait to hear from you. Support at therealtruthaboutyou.com. I'm Will St Clair. You guys rock.